Silent Hill 2 Remake is good. I'm not here to pretend it isn't. It's a fairly faithful reimagining, and for a lot of people that will be their first experience with this story. And I'm not here to argue whether Silent Hill 2 original or the remake is better than the other. I think both these games are works of art that should coexist along one another. Neither is better than the other, and both have their advantages and disadvantages. But for me, the original Silent Hill 2 still has something the remake cannot fully replace. The camera angles, the pacing and the awkwardness, and the way the fog kind of sits and looms over everything. The original game feels sort of attached and dreamlike, and this is a part of the identity of Silent Hill 2. Now, not to say the remake didn't capture it, but the original does have a nice charm to it. So today I want to talk about the best way to play the classic Silent Hill 2 in 2026. Not the remake and not the HD collection version which everybody hated. The actual original game preserved and enhanced in a way that still respects what the team originally intended when they made it. And the good news is, it's not very demanding at all, and it doesn't take a lot. You don't actually need a super killer gaming PC for it like you do the remake, because the remake runs very poorly. This can run on a multimedia laptop. All you really need is a original copy of Silent Hill 2, and I say original in quotation marks. And all you really do is you combine it with a fan-made Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition project, which fixes and adds a lot of stuff. Now, the original PC version of Silent Hill 2 is not sold digitally in any normal modern fashion, which is why you'll often hear people call it abandonware, and I agree. And I'm not going to link you to the game itself, but realistically, like a wise man once said, if you Google the name of the game and abandonware at the end, you'll probably find what you're looking for. It's not hard to find at all with a simple Google search. So once you have the original PC version installed, the important part is installing Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition on top of it. And this is where the game will change completely. Enhanced Edition is not some random AI upscaled texture pack. It is a full preservation project designed to make the original PC version compatible with modern hardware, modern Windows, widescreen displays, improved visuals and audio, and a lot of bug fixes and restored effects. The project describes itself as a set of enhancement packages for the 2001 PC version, improving visuals, audio, and bugs, as stated before. The official project page lists high-definition resolutions, widescreen camera fixes, upscaled fonts, videos, and images. This is kind of an important thing for me, especially when I look at remasters and just older games. A lot of older games have low resolution fonts and logos and icons, and it kind of is jarring when you're running a HD texture pack or something on top and the font and everything else is kind of pixelated. For some people, they might like this kind of OG quality, but for me, I personally don't like it, especially if we're talking, you know, texture packs. But this has a 60 FPS mode with high frame rate fixes and restored soft shadows, as well as restored audio. And the fog tries to be as original and authentic to the PS2 as it can. Plus, we have improved controller support and mouse support. So yes, you can literally stick a PS5 pad in, add this game as a non-Steam game to Steam, and you can use your controller that way. Any controller will work. The big comparison here is going to be between the Enhanced Edition and the PS2 emulation, because the PS2 emulation is still technically the most pure version of the game. If you want the most authentic version of Silent Hill 2, then yes, the PlayStation 2 version for PCSX2 is still arguably the closest to the original console experience, unless you were to whip out the game in the console and, you know, play it on a TV or CRT. So you're playing the actual PS2 version, you get the original look and audio and everything, and the original 4x3 framing. Now, you also have the original console limitations and, you know, the right resolutions with the right settings, and, you know, it's probably the best way to play it if you really want it to be like OG. But then again, the trade-off with the PS2 emulation is that it becomes very complicated and it can be quite demanding on hardware too. When you push PCSX2 into widescreen or high internal resolutions, you can introduce issues that were never part of the original presentation. The Enhanced Edition comparison page notes that PCSX2 can do 4x3 and 16:9, but in widescreen, environment geometry can disappear near the edge of the camera projection, and the camera can clip into walls. Enhanced Edition actually fixes that by using modified camera files to avoid these problems in 16:9. So yeah, these guys actually modified the camera files for the game to make it you know, compatible with 16:9 resolutions. And Enhanced Edition is not necessarily more original than PS2 emulation, but I do think it is the best way to play Silent Hill 2 on a modern PC. It gives you the spirit of the PlayStation 2 version, but with the convenience of a proper PC remaster. Widescreen, higher resolution, better controller support, cleaner videos, improved text, and, you know, everything you could ever want. And there's no crazy AI texture upscale. It's all using the original textures as far as I'm aware, or as far as I can see. It only fixes a few minor blips here and there that Team Silent probably couldn't fix originally. And, you know, the fog is a really good example here in Enhanced Edition. EE says its fog resembles the same thickness, amount, speed, and movements as the PS2 version. And when I compare the two side by side, I can actually agree. Soft shadows are another important point because the PS2 version has soft shadows, but PCSX2's handling depends on render settings. Software mode can preserve console accurate shadows, but it is limited to the native 480p resolution, while hardware modes can make shadows sharper as resolution increases. EE keeps soft shadows even at higher resolutions. The FMVs are also much better handled in Enhanced Edition and uses high quality versions based on the PS2 FMVs, processed and upscaled to 1920 by 1230, so almost 1080p, and played back at 59.94 progressive frames per second. PCSX2 uses the original 512 by 3840 interlaced videos, which can look pixelated or jittery depending on the interlacing. So I've actually experienced that firsthand. You know, Konami already tried to bring Silent Hill 2 forward with the HD collection, and that version became infamous for all the wrong reasons. And the reasons usually given is that Konami did not have the final source code for Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3. I do not know how that even fucking happened, but developers reportedly had to work from incomplete code, so meaning they were not porting the game, they were kind of almost like remaking parts of it, and they were dealing with bugs and problems that the original Team Silent had already fixed before release. That is why a proper official remaster of the original Silent Hill 2 feels very unlikely. Not impossible, but unlikely. I have a feeling that if Konami ever did actually port these games to PC or modern platforms, they'd probably use the HD collection, sort of like they did with MGS. So in a weird way, Enhanced Edition is basically the remaster Silent Hill 2 never officially got. And maybe that's for the better because it is absolutely fantastic. So yes, in my opinion, this is probably the best way to play Silent Hill 2 in 2026. If you want a very modern experience, especially on PC that's not very demanding and doesn't require a lot of tinkering, this is definitely the way to go. It's super easy to run and super easy to set up. I guarantee you it will take you less than 10 minutes once you've got both the things downloaded, Silent Hill 2 and EE. It doesn't, you know, change the game or stray away from the artist's original vision. It, you know, simply preserves the game so as many people can, you know, access it as possible. And for a game as important, as iconic and influential as Silent Hill 2, that is probably the best outcome we could have asked for, because I don't really trust Konami to make a very good port of this game, even if they had the source code. But still, it would be a nice thing to see. So, yeah, I do highly recommend, if you are looking to replay the game, or just looking to get your hands on the classic, I highly recommend you check out Enhanced Edition. And yeah, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. It means a lot. It helps the channel. Peace.